Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Politics and Power. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes because I love talking about Black business and Black wealth. And we have an amazing panel here today to really unpack that for you thoroughly. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with the incredible LaFern Beatty.
Oh, thank you so much for having us here. I am LaFern Beatty. I'm the CEO of the Beatty Group, where we help entrepreneurs create exceptional experiences for their customers.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Lisa.
Sure. Thank you again for having me. I'm Lisa Anderson. I am a business strategist, million dollar mentor, and lead legacy builder with a novel transformation solutions. We work with small businesses to help them scale profitably, sustain profitably, and build their way to legacy.
Wonderful. And Charmaine.
Thank you for having me. I'm Charmaine Moore, CEO of Framework Consulting. As a professional coach, I inspire, influence, and ignite my clients to create change in their personal lives as well as in their business.
This is wonderful. So the reason why this is one of my favorite subjects is because we've all heard the really disturbing statistics about Black wealth. And we are so far behind that, to me, one of the main ways that we can make quantum leaps in moving forward is through entrepreneurship. Can you each share with me what are some of the approaches that you work with your clients around in terms of building successful businesses that not only last, but leave wealth for their families that can last for generations?
I walk my clients through a process where we look at, first of all, the overarching vision. Where is it you ideally and optimally would like to be when you get to the end of this business life? Because often when we start businesses, we don't think about where we're trying to go eventually. So we start with the vision. Then we look at the strategy. What's the roadmap? What's going to help you get from point A to point B? Understanding that, like a GPS, you might have to deviate, but at least you have a roadmap in place. We look at tactical execution, how to measure what you're doing to make sure it's effective, how to tweak when you need to. But on top of all of that, I lay who are you as a leader? Whether you are leading a team, whether you're in it by yourself and you're contracting vendors, who are you as a leader, and how does that influence the direction of the business? Are you leading with fear and going to the small clients, or are you leading courageously and with a boldness that says, let me go get everything that's here for me to capture?
Oh, I love that. The hunter mentality. Yes, girl.
Yeah. So we follow a small business framework as well, and it all does begin with the end in mind. But what I've learned over my 23 years in business and serving small businesses is that the leader is smack dab in the middle of business. And business can grow from the outside in, but really if you're trying to affect change, if you're trying to build a legacy and generational wealth, it grows from the inside out. And so it does begin with the leader's mindset, their mindset around their mission. They have to understand that their mission is important. Their mindset around their money. They have to understand that money is not really designed to help serve circumstances, but it's there to be a tool to help you drive future revenue generation.
Right.
And that the mindset around business being an asset, right, and not just your job. And then finally that the mindset around legacies are built. You have to be intentional about that.
Wow, that's powerful. Legacies are built. What would you say to that, to Charmaine?
I would say, to piggyback on both of these women, I would also say you have to be consistent.
Yes.
You will get sidetracked,
Yes.
but you have to keep your vision front and center, and you have to make sure that every action that you are taking is being purposeful towards that vision. Don't allow other things to come in and distract you, and if you find that, have an accountability partner. It is imperative to have a professional coach to help keep you on track, because the key is to be consistent once you know what your vision is.
That is so powerful. And I think it sort of makes me think of something that I often talk with about my clients, and the fact that there is a difference, a true difference between having an entrepreneurial mindset and an employee mindset.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And sometimes we self-sabotage because we want to own a business, but we're still thinking like an employee.
Absolutely.
How do we make that shift?
You know, it's interesting because I work in both spaces, organizations and entrepreneurs. The best employees are the ones who think like entrepreneurs. But as an entrepreneur, it's different from expecting somebody to create something for you. I'm going to put a framework together. I'm going to hang out my shingle, and I'm going to expect them to come. The entrepreneur wakes up every single day saying, what can I do today to attract clients, to build wealth in this business? What can I do to execute with excellence in a way that makes people want to come back to me over and over again? It's trying to stay not even competitive, but to be in a space where other people will compare themselves to your business.
Okay, now.
Absolutely.
Okay, now setting the standard.
Setting the
Not
standard.
running after it.
Absolutely.
So with you, Lisa, you are helping people scale from
Yes.
the 6-figure business to the 7-figure business.
Absolutely.
What is the biggest challenge that you find that people wrestle with
Sure.
when they're making that shift?
So I think it is that you don't know what you don't know, right? One of the biggest things that clients say when they come to me for the first time is, I don't know how to be a CEO. I don't know what that means. I have been designed to deliver my technical abilities, but I don't really know what it means to be a CEO. And so we start to unpack those things, and then we talk about, what is the job of a CEO. We look at where are you right now in business, and what are some of the things that you think about business that we need to unlearn so that we can learn the new things to start scaling the business and taking it to the next level.
And I think sometimes people are so domineering and sort of wanting to have control over everything. How can we begin to think bigger about, I can't do everything? In fact, I cannot grow my business to where it needs to be if I'm stuck in this idea that I have to do everything myself.
Sure.
I think as CEOs, entrepreneurs, you have got to have a tribe that you know you can trust. A tribe that you can talk to, share ideas, share some obstacles, share some concerns, and trust the resources that they give you. Because you know those resources have been tried and true, and they won't steer you wrong, but it will save you time. And then trust the process of letting it go, allowing someone else to take care of something for you. Once you learn it, delegate it. After you delegate it, inspect it. It saves you time. It saves you time. And time is very key when you're in a leadership position.
Absolutely.
You do
true.
not have time to waste.
Absolutely true. Now, thinking about all of your experiences, what one drop of wisdom would you give a listener out there who is saying, I want to not only build a business, I want to build a business that will last. I want to build a business that will create a legacy. I want to build a business that will make a difference in my family and my community for centuries. How do you start something that leaves a legacy?
It begins with a mindset, and I think it's one of the hardest shifts for entrepreneurs to make, especially those who are aspiring. We often hear it said, I don't want to work for anyone else. And what really positions you to be effective as an entrepreneur is understanding that you no longer have one employer, but that every single client you serve is now your employer.
That's true.
So getting that out of your head, that I don't work for anyone, and thinking about how can I serve everyone I connect with and do so with excellence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know you're the legacy expert, so let's
So
hear.
I think mindset is the first step, right? And that's a process that you're going to be working on continuously throughout business. It's an evolution. Once you get to the next level, you're going to have to learn how to get your mind ready for the coming levels.
Right.
But beyond mindset, I think number one is you have to plan your vision. You have to get it out of your head, put it on paper, and develop that roadmap that LaFern talked about. From there, you've got to understand your numbers. You got to monitor them. And I don't mean using your numbers and just understanding what impact have you already made and how does that affect your bottom line, but how do you use that to help to project you to the future?
Yeah.
And leverage your resources. Your resources are there to help elevate you and take you to the next level. So internal resources, external resources, and then you've got to get help.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is you have to be willing not to be the Lone Ranger because you don't know. So you have to be able to bring and willing to bring individuals in that have an expertise that can help lead you to the promised land is what I say.
Absolutely.
And the nugget that I would leave to someone listening, thinking about stepping into an entrepreneurial space, is you have got to remember every conversation that you have is an opportunity. When you're thinking about leaving a legacy, they may not be a client now, but they may be a client later.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And when you also think about wealth and investing, invest in yourself. You cannot grow unless you invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just not possible.
Absolutely. I will bet on myself every day of the week.
Every day.
Absolutely.
every day.
Well, with that said, I have it's been an amazing time talking with each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us this week on Politics and Power. We
Thank you for
cannot
having
wait to
us.
have you back next time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.